I'm Isaac, and every day on this channel we go through everything the president talked about on Truth Social in the last 24 hours. And I'm sure you guys already know this, but Samantha Guthrie, the host of NBC Today, her mother Nancy Guthrie was kidnapped. Well, the FBI has an ongoing investigation to figure out what happened with this, and today Donald Trump reposted this from the FBI. So, the FBI Director Kash Patel said there's new images in the search for Nancy Guthrie. Over the last 8 days, the FBI and Pima County Sheriff's Department have been working closely with our private sector partners to continue to recover any images or video footage from Nancy Guthrie's home that may have been lost, corrupted, or inaccessible due to a variety of factors, including the removal of recorded devices. The video was recovered from residual data located in back-end systems. Working with our partners, as of this morning, law enforcement has uncovered these previously inaccessible new images showing an armed individual appearing to have tampered with the camera at Nancy Guthrie's front door the morning of her disappearance. And they urge you, if anyone has information, please contact 1-800-CALL-FBI or visit tips.fbi.gov. And here are the pictures. You can see the masked man right here, and this is him tampering with the door. And this was quoted by the White House that says the president encourages any American across the country with any knowledge of this suspect to please call the FBI, who continue to assist state and local authorities. The prayers of the entire White House are with the Guthrie family, and Trump reposted that. And another massive thing we've been hearing about is voter fraud and the controversial SAVE Act. Now, a couple days ago, Elon Musk called for mail-in voting to be abolished nationwide except for troops overseas or a serious medical condition. And he says it's critical to avoid fraud. And he shares this video. Now, it's a pretty long video, but let's take a look at a part of it.
Our team is looked at these systems, and there are a dozen ways to interdict the voting process in these issues. Whether it's mail-in ballot manipulations, they can scan and allocate votes, blank votes, whether it was the 70,000 votes left in the back room. There's just lots of ways to interdict these systems. What that indicates is there is a spike in loaded votes, 337,000 plus or minus of some votes that were added in there in one big batch. So that was an anomaly in the reporting. Normally you would expect to see a smooth curve going up, not any big spikes. That's kind of what Greg was talking about.
And so the video goes on. This account says Elon is right. Banning mail-in voting is critical to avoiding fraud in our elections. During the 2020 election, Pennsylvania sent out 1,823,148,000 mail-in ballots, but received back around 2.5 million mail-in ballots. This accounts for Biden's fraudulent and impossible 682,000 plus vote spike, which were counted with no observers and were all for Biden, which magically just happened to be enough to steal Trump's almost 700,000 vote lead in Pennsylvania before swing states shut down counting locations at the same time to steal the 2020 election, and Trump reposted that. And so legislation aiming to deal with this is the SAVE Act, which the White House says dozens of major democracies all over the world require voter ID to vote in federal elections, but why not the United States? And Trump points out how 83% support requiring voter ID to vote. That's including 71% of Democrats. And he also reposts another video from Elon Musk that shows CBS engaging in deliberate election interference.
We eventually broadcast a story about the Hunter Biden laptop after the midterm elections in 2022. We commissioned a forensic review. I got a copy of the laptop data. I have it here still. I went to a lot of effort to get the cleanest copy of the laptop data, the same data that was provided to the FBI, because I didn't want to have any professional journalistic risk for CBS News. I wanted this thing to be totally locked down. When we did the story, we did it after the midterms. I argued against that because it was ready before the midterms. And my training is that you should always do the story when it's ready to go. You should not be dictated by the political cycle. Once we got the laptop story on the morning news, I felt that there was so much there that we could still do. For example, in the text messages, there's unfortunately the use of the N-word, the liberal use of the N-word. And I thought this was worthy of a story, but I was told that it was not something that interested CBS News. Then I asked for a forensic review of the laptop, and we found that there were more than half a dozen emails were likely used by Joe Biden. I thought that was a story. But the answer that came back was, well, we need to know what the content is of the emails. But that was going to be a years-long process. So there was no way. So there were just there were a lot of reasons I was told not to do it, not to pursue it. I spent a lot of my time at CBS following the Hunter Biden story. And one of the things that really struck me is this kind of disconnect. I didn't understand how a senior executive like George Cheese could tell me that this was a high priority for the network and for his boss. And yet the executives at CBS News, show producers, anchors could refuse that. I came to the conclusion that they must have felt that they were more powerful than George Cheeks, which was astonishing to me.
All right, moving on from the 2020 election and fraud, let's talk about foreign policy, because today was quite the controversial day. Donald Trump says, as everyone knows, the country of Canada has treated the United States very unfairly for decades. Now, things are turning around for the USA and fast, but imagine, Canada is building a massive bridge between Ontario and Michigan. They own both the Canada and the United States side, and of course, built it with virtually no US content. Barack Hussein Obama stupidly gave them a waiver so they could get around the Buy America Act and not use any American products, including our steel. Now, the Canadian government expects me, as President of the United States, to permit them to just take advantage of America? What does the United States of America get? Absolutely nothing. Ontario won't even put the U.S. spirits, beverages, and other alcoholic products on their shelves. They are absolutely prohibited from doing so, and now on top of everything else, Prime Minister Carney wants to make a deal with China, which will eat Canada alive. We'll just get the leftovers. I don't think so. The first thing China will do is terminate all ice hockey being played in Canada and permanently eliminate the Stanley Cup. The tariffs Canada charges us for our dairy products have for many years been unacceptable, putting our farmers at great financial risk. I will not allow this bridge to open until the United States is fully compensated for everything we have given them. And also importantly, Canada treats the United States with the fairness and respect that we deserve. We will start negotiations immediately with all that we have given them we should own, perhaps at least half of this asset. The revenues generated because of the US market will be astronomical. Thank you for your attention to this matter. All right, and just in case you guys didn't know, you can fill out your form 4547 to make your election for the 2026 tax year to give your child a jump start to the American dream with the Donald Trump accounts. Again, just go to trumpaccounts.gov to fill out form 4547. And Trump shares this. Apparently, Bobby Kennedy, RFK, said his 29-year-old, very left-wing Democratic son called him to express how proud he is of President Trump and RFK for dramatically lowering drug prices. And I assume this is in response to Trump RX, which we've seen on this channel. And guys, Donald Trump talks about his great ballroom once again. He shares two views of the great ballroom being built on the site of our wonderful White House. Trump says it is on budget and ahead of schedule. When completed, it will be the finest ballroom ever built anywhere in the world. One that has been sought by presidents for over 150 years, and now they are getting the best. Because of its unprecedented structural safety and security features, it will also be used for future presidential inaugurations. Thank you for your attention to this matter. And let's look at these renders that they share. This is the front of it, and that's the side angle of it. It does seem to fit in with the White House pretty well. And today at 4 p.m. Eastern Time, Donald Trump sat down with Larry Kudlow of Fox Business for an exclusive interview. Let's take a look at a key moment from that interview.
Interest rates should be lower. You know, every point is $600 billion. Think of that. $600 billion. All he has to do, if we went down 2 points, we don't have a deficit anymore. And that's without cutting. And it's just a paper charge. When you think about it, it's a paper charge. We should be the lowest interest rate in the world.
And moving on to immigration, Donald Trump reposted two videos from the White House today. The first one documents a terrible tragedy. An illegal alien who was released into America after crossing the border under the Biden administration killed 3 innocent Americans in a horrific car crash. Quickly, I'll play the dash cam footage from this crash, but if you guys want to skip ahead, just feel free. Just skip to the chapter marker.
Now take a look. This is exclusive dash cam video that is now the subject of several law enforcement investigations. Shows the moment a red semi-truck plowed into a number of vehicles on the westbound 10 freeway in Ontario just after 1 p.m. yesterday. The CHP told the LA Times the driver of this big rig is a 21-year-old man who is now under arrest on suspicion of driving under the influence of drugs. A total of 4 semis were involved and also 4 passenger vehicles, one of them exploding in flames. 3 people were killed and 4 others were taken to local hospitals. This horrific crash happened just east of the 15 freeway and shut down all westbound lanes for more than 12 hours. Thousands of drivers were trapped in the gridlock just as the evening commute was getting underway. It also happened near the Ontario airport, so the crash likely delayed people that were trying to get to their flights.
And another unfortunate story that the White House posted, it's an American mother and daughter who lost their lives when an illegal alien with multiple prior charges was released back into our streets because of sanctuary city policies.
An illegal alien is now facing deportation after he was allegedly driving drunk when he killed a mother and daughter in a horrific wrong-way crash. The Mexican national has a lengthy rap sheet, including 2 DUI arrests this year alone. Joining me now to talk about this is U.S. Customs and Border Protection Senior Advisor Ron Vitello. Ron, great to see you.
Thanks for inviting me.
So shockingly, this happened in yet another sanctuary state of New Jersey. And how many times are we going to see this, Ron? I mean, it feels like we're banging our head against the wall. Just take a look at this guy's rap sheet. Should have never been on the streets in the first place. Before he allegedly killed this mom and daughter, this year alone, April, DUI arrest released. March, DUI arrest released. June of 2023, domestic violence arrest released. This guy was in local custody multiple times. ICE was never notified. They don't cooperate with ICE. This guy was released every single time. Now a mom and her little girl are dead. Your thoughts?
It's very unfortunate. Our hearts go out to this family. There are too many angel families in the United States. This is a typically preventable crime. It's the most preventable crime that we have in the United States. This risk is all over the place. New Jersey, as an example, this individual, it is a very simple process for the local jurisdiction, the sheriff's office, the city jail, to pick up the phone and call ICE enforcement removal operations and say, this person was born outside of the United States and they've committed a crime in our community against our citizens in New Jersey. Please come pick them up. ICE would come very carefully, take them from the jail setting, and put them on a path for removal.
And that was a little hard to watch, but let's move on to something that's a little bit lighter. Apparently, Donald Trump's approval rating is skyrocketing with Hispanics. A new poll revealed as President Trump continues his aggressive mass deportation policy, his highest approval rating by far is with Hispanic voters at 54%. There's a message in there somewhere about the real nature of illegal immigration from the people who know more about it than anyone else. Trump's approval rating among Hispanics just skyrocketed. Rasmussen's poll numbers prove the obvious. Legal Americans demand enforcement. Mass deportation isn't chaos, it's consequence. Break the law, face removal. Want to contribute? Enter legally. Polls show overwhelmingly 83% back deporting criminal illegals. And this comes from a Newsweek article. Trump also posted a meme. It says, the historic moment when the 2 greatest presidents shook hands, showing Ronald Reagan and Donald Trump shaking hands. And finally, to finish off the video, Donald Trump posted this video of himself. He's speaking up about how America was getting ripped off by the rest of the world. So let's take a look. It's from almost 40 years ago.
When I see a total ripoff of this country by Japan, where they literally have no defense budget, where we have to borrow money from them in order to get them oil and defend the Persian Gulf, where most of the oil goes to Japan and other countries, not us. We get 4% of oil. When I see Kuwait, a total ripoff, we're bringing the Bridgeton. You remember the Bridgeton? Their oil minister sat back and he laughed at how much money he's going to make. Why aren't we getting some of that money? Why aren't we getting it? They're taking in billions and billions of dollars, and we can't even land a helicopter on Kuwaiti soil. You tell me that's right. Saudi Arabia, they wouldn't even be there except for us. And in Saudi Arabia, we couldn't even use their minesweepers, Phil. You know it. We said, could we use your minesweepers? Ours are old, outdated, not worth a damn. They said, no, you can't use our minesweepers to protect the Persian Gulf. I mean, it's a disgrace. What's going on?
There are many other countries and taking tremendous advantage of this, including NATO. If you look at the payments that we're making to NATO, they're totally disproportionate with everybody else's, and it's ridiculous. As far as other causes that are near and dear, this is the cause, because if we can solve this, then we're able to take care of something that I consider to be ultimately of ultimate importance, and that is the homeless situation, that is the farmers, that is the sick. We don't have any money. We're going, this country is busted, and it's busted because we're doing things that we shouldn't be doing. If we had business ability in this country, we'd be making lots of profit, so-called surplus profit, and that profit, that money, could be going to defend our, and I literally mean defend our homeless and our poor and our sick and our farmers, And that's where we ought to be spending the money, not giving it to countries that don't give a damn for us to start off with. We don't give anything to our farmers. Our farmers are dying. There's no question about it. Farms that were in for generations and families, they're being taken away. The homeless are all over the streets of the major cities, the sick and the problems, and yet we'll give billions of dollars in defending countries that have 5 times more money than we can ever hope to have. It's ridiculous.
So there you have it. That was everything Donald Trump said today. We saw the FBI is asking for help identifying the person that kidnapped Nancy Guthrie. We also saw Donald Trump is trying to claim our side of the Canadian bridge, threatening to not open it if that's not the case. And we saw Trump repost videos from Elon talking about 2020 election, urging us to pass the SAVE Act. As always, if you guys want to support the channel, consider subscribing. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers, and if we could hit that, that would be absolutely amazing. I'll see you guys tomorrow, and thanks for watching.